But I think the person that should be an airplane pilot is the person that is best suited to keep the plane in the air. It goes together. Airplane. I don't need diversity and inclusion in everything. All right, so I'll put it like this.
Okay.
I do want inclusion, and I do think there's systemic issues throughout, America in particular. So right now, if you turn on your phone and you're watching YouTube, if you turn on the TV and you're watching a TV commercial, 80% of the commercials that come on right now are going to have black people doing this and that and the third. And even more so you're seeing now, you'll see the black and white couple or whatever in Ozempic commercials or fucking Cheetos commercials or whatever like that. And so occasionally once every 4 months, I'll get to why I am.
Okay.
Occasionally every 2.5 months, you'll get a YouTube commercial that's in complete Spanish about Doritos or like Taco Bell or some shit that they don't even, you know what I mean? They're probably not even, whatever, right? So you're trying to show me diversity. How many people in that C-suite or in that executive group or in the decision room that is making this commercial that's so diverse are diverse?
Not many.
Not many. And I'm not talking about black. I'm talking about how many women are in this shareholders meeting. How many black people are in it? How many Asian Americans? How many whoever is in there? As far as I can see, for a lot of things, it's not incredibly diverse. It's a bunch of people with white skin from whatever background, but they say, hey, we're on Team White. And then they're making the decision to say, just show them something that makes them feel included. Which, to be honest, what I truly appreciate, I don't appreciate you showing me black fucking airplane pilots for United. What I appreciate is back in the day when Captain Kirk kissed Uhura on Star Trek, when it was a big deal, when it was the first time they ever did that, and they got no brownie points. There was no internet to give them any likes for it. They just fucking did it. What I appreciate is Jack Kirby and Jim Lee, or Stan Lee, making fucking the dude with the wings, or making Black Panther before you could ever get, cool points for that. So for the fact that they're doing it for brownie points right now, the fact that it's literally they, Blackwater and groups like that are mandating these things. Why are you mandating? You sat down with a bunch of very smart, very educated, very wealthy people and did this on purpose with a design, with an expected result, with people who went to college for a lot of years sitting behind a computer crunching a whole bunch of numbers and say, if we do X, we'll get Z. Here's why. So what is the why? Because you're not doing it because you're changing shit in the boardroom. You're doing it because it influences something. What are you trying to influence me for? So, no, I don't appreciate it because it's hogwash. It's sophistry. It's bullshit. So, that's the part I don't understand.
I don't want to interrupt you if you have more.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to, in good faith, I'm going to try to put into words, my own words, what I believe you're saying.
Yes,
so
please.
If I'm wrong, you let me know.
Yeah.
You don't have a problem with diversity. You don't have a problem with unity, equity, so on and so forth. You have a problem with the insincere and manipulative taking advantage of the desire for diversity through through these old, rich, white billionaires, essentially.
Sure.
Is that accurate?
I don't even put it the white category, the elite.
Sure.
If you got that kind of money, that's your peer group, and you're gonna go with the flow.
I would assume
they just happen to be majority white, because why wouldn't you pull somebody up that? And majority of them are the ones with the money in America.
Right. So I think it would be fair to say that the people who are doing this type of manipulation are probably older white men.
Probably.
I would say to the speaking of I don't know, you didn't say affirmative action, but do you include affirmative action in all of what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that the point of it isn't to say let's put this unskilled Cambodian woman for the sake of putting her in there. I think it's there because we've had white men specifically control everything for so long.
Mm-hmm.
They have actively done everything possible to push out the Cambodian lady who is perfectly qualified, or to push out the black woman or the gay person or whoever that is perfectly qualified to do the thing. And if you do not force them or force a situation in which these people get the opportunity to be involved,
Sure.
then no progress happens. Without that sincere moment, which I agree with Star Trek, with them kissing,
Yeah.
we don't get the point where we can even complain about this in the first place. So I understand what you're saying in terms of the lack of sincerity, but I do think it is necessary to, if we're going to live in this melting pot or this gumbo pot, we all need the opportunity to be involved in it. And so that's my push against what you're saying with the Cambodian thing, particularly, is that these people are going to hold on to power no matter what, and until you fucking force them to let go, and just these little moments, these little wins are what progress us forward, and that's my argument.
Absolutely, these little wins are what progress us forward. I definitely stand by what you're saying right now, and I appreciate you pushing back on it. There was actually a moment, I think it happened in the 80s. Don't give me the line what year, and I don't remember the name of it, but there was actually a mandate in television. This is back in the day when there wasn't a lot of channels. So, you know, the oligarchs of television were a small group of people. But they did mandate at a certain time in American history that you have to include X amount of black people or different colored races on TV. This was already handled in the 80s. To your point about the Cambodian, now, if there's... I definitely agree with you that to a point, depending on the industry and the circumstances, maybe unionize is as close to what I can think of being a part of it as it is. But you don't unionize to be a soldier. You unionize to be a general. That's where the decision making is handled at. If you say, I want to be a soldier and hold a gun and go stand on the line, you're a throwaway. You're a bit player. You're not a decision maker. You are waiting for your orders, and you're going to go out there and hopefully not die. You want to be represented in the general's room where they say, hey, we should go over here. These are our strengths. These are our weaknesses. This is the plan. This is my point of view on the plan. All right, let's execute it and tell the troops what to do. So, like, to have the Cambodians for America fight over who can be a pilot, I think that's somewhat of a waste. To have any group fight over who's going to sit in the boardroom to make these decisions, that's more of what I want to see. And then on top of that, I don't want you forcing it down my neck. You know what I mean? There was a time when it was my second to last day in Okinawa, Japan, before we moved to England when I was growing up as a kid. I'm 5 years old, maybe, and I'm standing outside the barracks before we're in the barracks about to move, and we're having a fight. Me and my friends were having like a seed fight. There's these trees out there that grow these big green seeds.
Seed fight?
Yeah, but they're these huge seeds that come off the tree. They're like this big, they're green, and they have spikes on them. And then once they, ripen, fall off the tree, you crack it open. There's like a little like brown walnut in there or some shit like that, right? But we're throwing these at each other. Mm-hmm. Somebody threw one at me, hit me right in my eye, and it's a bunch of little needles on it, right? So I have to go to the emergency room. This is the day before we're getting on a plane to fly out the country to a different country. We go to the emergency room, and they have to like take care of my eye. They got to put like iodine in it. They got to pull out all the needles. They got to do all this crazy stuff to it. They strap me to the bed. I'm going bananas. I'm 4 or 5 years old, right? I'm going bananas. I can't move. I'm strapped in. And I told him, I told my mom, I was like, look, and I remember this back then. I told my mom, I was like, look, I'm not going to move. Just tell him to take the straps off. Mm-hmm. And the doctor was like, all right, we'll give him a chance. But if he starts fucking around, we're putting the straps back on. Mm-hmm. They took the straps off, and I stayed still and let him do it. It hurt like a bitch. Don't force me, bro. Tell me what needs to get done. Tell me the good and the bad. Let me decide, and I will go along with the rules. You know what I mean? Chances are, unless those rules are gonna affect me in an adverse way. But if you strap me down, I'm gonna go fucking bananas, bro.
So I would say to that, I think I understand your metaphor, or I don't know if it's a metaphor or an analogy.
Yeah, it's a metaphor wrapped in an analogy.
I don't want to be naive.
Cloaked in an allegory. Yeah.
But in that situation, you were in pain, and you needed somebody to help you from being in pain, and you articulated that if in good faith, as a child, you said, if you let go of these straps, if you just let me on my own volition chill, this week I will let you help me.
I promise. Yeah.
I think that is great in theory.
Okay.
So in theory, if I could trust these old white people that have money and be like, yeah, you know what? We will all hang back and let you make laws that are totally fair. But historically speaking, that's not the case. I want to say it was the Little Rock Nine, where it was forced that the desegregation was forced on these people. But they don't have things in their eyes. Ain't nobody bothering them. These are just black people going to get an education. And you would have thought that they all had these little prickly things in their eyes.
Yeah.
And my question isn't to the 5-year-old version of you who's in physical pain. My question is, why does it feel like it hurts so bad to have black people have anything, or white women to have anything, or gay people to have anything? Charles Schultz, to speak to a great man, Charles, the guy who made the Peanuts cartoons.
Oh yeah.
To speak to, he's like a Jack Kirby. He went out of his way to make that black ass boy and put him in the thing. He
wasn't the dirty one.
No, he wasn't. And he wasn't the dirty one. That's impressive. That's impressive that he did that. That's a white man born in 1922.
Yeah,
he didn't do that. He on his own volition did that, and people were so mad. The desegregating pools. They were throwing acid in the pools. White people were covering the pools in cement. They would rather not be able to swim than just let everybody swim.
Right.
So for me, in what you're describing, I understand where you're coming from. It makes sense. But history for me shows that I cannot trust these people to, on their own volition, let go of power.
Sure.
And that's my retort to that.
You definitely can't trust racist people with power to let go of power. But I also think that the same way we were talking about masculine men of any race ain't going to let you get away with rocking a dress, racist people of any race aren't going to let you get away with doing other race shit. And so to segue into the thing you told me not to forget
Jiu-jitsu?
about, Redzovic. Shout out Redzovic Jiu-Jitsu. What a majority of those guys, especially when I was going, they were like Jordanian? I forget what part of the.
I know they're Muslim.
Exactly. What's the chances? How long would you have to go to that school to be a professor? It's probably going to be a while. The level of dedication, and when you get there, how many other black folks are they going to let being in there? It's probably not too many. They're not going out there just looking for black people to be diverse. Now, here's the other thing is that when you're going there to learn these, you're literally going there to learn ways to kill a person.
Yeah.
And you're trusting them literally with your life. Mm-hmm. If at any point in time your professor holds on for an extra 30 seconds, naivete is night-night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need diversity in Redzovic. I don't need the name Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to be changed to World Jiu-Jitsu because I'm not Brazilian and I want to be represented in your name. Make it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and make it Redzovic, and I'm going to rock you. I still have your emblem. I still have your patches. I still have your gi, and I respect those dudes to the utmost. All the ones that I trained under, and that's another thing about jiu-jitsu is I leave people right the fuck alone because the people that you see in there that are complete ninjas, you see them on the street and you're like, look at this dweeb, and they could kill you on some John Wick for real. I respect everybody.
I want to speak to that. So I'm sure we'll have another podcast where we can talk about
of course.
race again.
Yeah.
Because this will be a never-ending cycle.
Sure.
But,
did you see the subliminal marketing I did to you?
Yeah, that was great. That was great. But jiu-jitsu. My God. That year ago, had I started? I don't remember.
I think no, you know what? No, because I think we started talking about you being in jiu-jitsu at a gig.
Yeah, at Red Room.
Yeah.
So it's been a little over a year. I'm a white belt with technically 3 stripes.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. But the first stripe I got on a donor belt. So I have 2 stripes, and I'm fine with that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I'll be a very dangerous 2-stripe white belt.
Yeah.
In terms of race and all the stuff we've been talking about, I have felt far more comfortable now with dealing with it because I know I have some tools to defend myself.
Okay.
A big part of my anger towards white people, I think this is a thing that anger, the root of anger comes from. For me, it's white people have done nothing but. For me, where I grew up, white people have brought not only mental trauma, but physical trauma, really like sincere to the death type of shit multiple times. And so for me, it was like, I'm on edge and I'm angry because I'm like, I don't know which one of you guys are going to pull some shit.
Yeah.
And so I'm like hyper, I'm ready for anything now.
Yeah.
But with jiu-jitsu, having the tools to know how to deal, like I know what you're saying about like I respect everyone because I don't know what they know. I feel the same. I've also noticed that most people don't know actually how to fight. I'll tell you about a moment I had at an open mic. Don't let me forget this, but I feel far more comfortable in the world because I'm aware